What's up, everybody? It's another hot day in Arizona. So before I get sweaty and dirty, I wanted to make this video real quick. And so today I'm going to be making boxing plates for my frame from the step notch to that cross member. And for you new fabricators out there, I'm going to show you my process on how I get to the point from a steel plate to the actual perfect piece to weld in. And I'm also going to show you my favorite tool to cut metal with. Alright everybody, I like to apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties with the microphone on my GoPro, but as you can see, something looks a little bit different from before. I have already finished my boxing plates, but that's alright. I can still show you the process on how I got from a sheet of steel to a perfectly cut piece of metal for where I need it. And we'll start with the template. First thing is you want to get the right type of cardboard to do your templates. You don't want to use this thick corrugated cardboard box stuff. It's very hard to work with. It's a little too thick. And likewise, you also don't want to use sheets of paper that's way too thin and won't be rigid enough to hold its shape. So you want something that's got about the same thickness as like these soda boxes. I've used these leftover monster boxes, and they seem to work out pretty good. Again, you don't want to use paper or the thick corrugated boxes. And so what you want to do is, for whatever part you need to make your template on, you just hold it up to, for example, if you're doing a boxing plate, you just hold it up to the back of the frame. You are going to trace out the outline with a Sharpie. You cut it out, and then you transfer the form. This is my template that I needed. And then you trace this straight to the sheet of metal, and then you cut out the metal. And when you cut out the metal, you want to cut it right on the line that you trace onto it, or even on the inside of the line. Otherwise, it's going to be, your part's going to be way too big, and then you have to spend a lot of time trimming it down with a sander or grinder. So again, once you trim it, once you outline it, you want to cut it on the line or just inside the line to avoid the tedious task of grinding and sanding. You don't want to go too far, because then your part might be too small and you just wasted some metal and you have to use it for something that's smaller. Let's go over to the tool I was talking about, and that's just over here. And here's my favorite tool. This is the Milwaukee Portaband, or portable bandsaw. I do believe other companies such as DeWalt make their version also, so Milwaukee's not the only one that makes it. This thing's a workhorse. It'll cut metal like butter, and I use it in this table that I made to use it to cut intricate tabs or just make fine precise cuts. So for most part it lives inside that table, but I do pull it out once in a while to cut tubes off of, like, say, roll cages and whatnot. But this table's probably got maybe 20 bucks in material. I mean, the most expensive part was finding a square piece of 1/8 inch steel. And what I did is take an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel to cut straight line there for the blade to fit through. Drilled a hole and tapped it for like a thumb screw to hold the saw in place, as you can see right there. Use some pieces of square and angle to keep the saw square, and you can figure out any design you want as long as you find a way to secure it to the table. It's pretty easy to do, but like I said, this thing's been a workhorse. The only drawback to a saw like this is you can only cut as far back as the throat of this, which is probably about 5 inches. Yeah, like 5-inch throw. But sometimes if you're cutting like a sliver out, like something like this, it'll slide by the body of the saw. Other than that, I highly recommend it. If you have any questions on the table or the saw or the templates, go ahead and leave a comment. And if you like the video and think it'll help you out, throw a like. Thanks. See you next time. Here's a real quick view of the final final piece after it's been cut out from the template before I fully weld them in. As you see, pretty precise.